Hey, what's up again, YouTube world? It is your girl here, the Venusian Bull, and I'm back here with another astrological tea video. And today we are going to be talking about the sign of the scales and balance, Libra. And I know a lot about this energy because I happen to have a Libra moon. Libra is also ruled by Venus like Taurus. So again, the correlation between my name, Venusian Bull, so it all ties together. So of course, yes, I'll be able to relate a lot to this energy. And you will too if you have your sun, your moon, or your rising sign in Libra, or any of your personal planets, be that Mercury, Venus, or Mars, or your north or south node. And also if you have planets in the seventh house. This is seven. So we're going to get right into my little blurb that I mentioned about all of the signs. So as I mentioned, Libra's motto is I balance, and they are ruled by Venus, just like Taurus. So that's about peace, harmony, artistic expression, money, values, relationships of all kinds. Now, I didn't really touch base that much on the values portion of Venus when I talked about the Taurus video, which would have kind of made more sense because it ties a little bit more in with Taurus energy, because even though Venus rules both Taurus and Libra, just like Mercury rules both Gemini and Virgo, they kind of express each other in different ways. So when it comes to like the value aspect of Venus, it has to deal with like your self-worth and how much you value yourself. And you know, it does have to do with like actual, value that you have, like tangible, like money and possessions and things like that. But it does have to do with how you feel about yourself, your self-esteem, I should say. So definitely keep that in mind. But that part of Venus is more indicative of the second house, which is more Taurus related, versus the seventh house. So I'm trying not to confuse y'all, but just know that even though a planet rules more than one sign, it does um, act in different ways. It has a little bit of a different manifestation, so to speak. So I just want to make that clear. All right, so I have to do it. I have to talk about the songs that remind me of Libra, and there's so many because, like I said before, Libra is one of the main signs of the artists, of musicians, of singers. There's so many artists that are Libras. Not all of the artists that I'm referencing their music Libra related, but when I get into the celebrities, you'll see what I mean. But We Belong Together by Mariah Carey. When you left, I lost a part of me. It's still so hard to believe. Come back, baby, please, 'cause we belong together. So yes. Also, meet me at the altar in your white dress. We ain't getting no younger, we might as well do it. Let's get married, baby, let's get married. Jagged Edge, of course, because Libra is a sign of marriage, so duh. Also, this is actually a cute and clever one. Remember this song by Keisha Cole? I changed my mind. I don't love you no more. Because, Libra is indecisive. So I changed my mind. And also, make my heart go bada, boot up, a beat it da, boot up, little LMI for you because boot up, that just seems like a Libra anthem for relationships. And the last song that I have on here is We Out Here Dripping in Finesse. Hey, it don't make no sense. Out here dripping in finesse. You know it, you know it. Hey, and Bruno Mars actually is a Libra, and the thing about finesse is that Libra is known for finessing things and finessing situations, putting a little special touch on stuff because they look at all of the angles and they finesse. They don't just jump right in. They don't just dive in head first or whatever. It's like a finesse. They finesse a relationship. They finesse a man. It's like it's a thing. So So we're going to get into all of the nitty gritty about Libra. I will decide if hopefully I won't have to make this into two parts like the Virgo video, but I do have a lot to say. So we'll see how this goes once I hit like 20 minutes or so. All right. So Libra is the sign of relationships, and this means relationships of all kinds. So romantic relationships, partnerships. This also includes business partnerships as well, so you can't forget that. It rules artistic expression, the arts, music, dance, visual art, museums and things of that nature. So it's very, very artistic. Libras, like I mentioned with Leos, can be kind of vain because they are very concerned with the aesthetic. And I was trying to really make my hair like symmetrical because, the whole balancing act thing. But it's not really working for me today. But go figure. Anyway, so since it's ruled by Venus, it represents beauty. So aesthetically speaking, Libra energy can just produce a very beautiful person, like just pretty people like to look at. So I mean, there's not really any other way to say that. They just real pretty a lot of the times, or handsome, you know what I'm saying? They can be kind of superficial and have superficial type of friends and relationships. Usually people with Libra energy, they need to have friends. They need to have relationships with people. That's the key word, relationships. It's difficult for them to be alone, like I mentioned, so they do long for relationships. You see the theme that's happening here with Libra? And they feed off of others in terms of trying to find themselves and understand themselves. So that means that their relationships with others helps them to better understand themselves. So they learn about themselves through others. And if you think back to what I said about Aries, which is the opposite sign of Libra, Aries doesn't need all of that. Aries doesn't need anybody else to define them. Aries doesn't need to be in a relationship with somebody else to understand their purpose and what they're there for. Libra is the exact opposite. You know what I mean? Which is why I mentioned in one of my previous videos that the sun is in the fall in Libra. And this is exactly why. Because Librans need relationships to be able to kind of define themselves and be able to self-identify in a sense. And since I mentioned the fall, I have to also mention that Libra season begins the fall season, begins autumn, and it is also a cardinal sign, so Libras are initiators as well. So Libras are very, diplomatic. You know what I'm saying? They have that whole they kind of have that lawyer hat on at all times. So they're always like, about diplomacy, you know what I'm saying? Looking at both sides, harmony, very harmonious. They're also very strategic. So don't be thinking that Libras are dumb because they're strategizing. They're trying to see how each side of the equation works and see what works best for them. This is also another military sign, and that's where the strategy actually really comes into play. Due to this strategic aspect, Libras would be more likely to be like top brass in the military or like special forces, or like in the Marines or something like that. The sign of open enemies, rivals, and opponents. So that also kind of goes with the military theme. And if you just think about relationships in general, not all relationships are good. You know what I'm saying? So Libra does have to deal with the enemies and the rivals and the frenemies and all of that type of stuff. So Libra also represents law and justice. So basically, Libra seeks fairness in every aspect of their life. You could hear a Libra say a lot of times, that's not fair, this just isn't fair, that is unjust, you know what I'm saying? And Libra is just very much concerned with equality. You know what I'm saying? They're concerned with equality in every facet, even with equal like it could be something like very, like mundane, like they need their dresser to have an equal amount of clothes on this side versus this side. It might be that crazy, but it's all about the balancing thing. Also, prominent Libra energy, because they're the sign of law and justice, would actually make a great judge. And I feel like if there were more people with Libra energy that were actually working in the criminal justice system, of course, I haven't looked up this statistic, but in my opinion, it's not a lot of people with Libra energy that are working in the justice system. But there would actually probably be, I'm not saying it's a guarantee or anything like that. And it also depends on other factors in your chart, but prominent Libra energy that is concerned with justice and fairness. A lot of the decisions that are made, on Capitol Hill or in very prominent like Supreme Court cases and things like that may not be made the way that they are if there were more people that were concerned with justice and fairness, which is Libra energy. So also, Libra energy is like the quintessential feminist. You hear me using that word a lot, the quintessential, because every sign kind of has like their thing and like their niche and everything like that. So Libra is kind of the quintessential feminist because Libra kind of represents both masculine and feminine energies. Libra is actually a masculine sign because it is an air sign. So it is a masculine sign. And I feel like people forget that a lot. But it is ruled by the feminine Venus, right? So it's about a combination of that masculine and feminine energy. So Libra energy, or people with prominent Libra energy, they don't believe that just because you're a man that you should be entitled to more things in life. You know what I'm saying? So that's kind of that whole feminist thing. And there are a couple of celebrities that I'm going to mention that are going to, confirm that that embodiment and everything like that. So because Aquarius is the sign of the activist and everything like that, but because Libra is concerned with relating to others and relating to the opposite sex and equality and that masculine feminine, the whole feminist thing kind of works out for that Libra energy. Like I said, equality of the sexes. Libra loves anything beautiful. So beautiful people, beautiful surroundings, like Taurus because they're ruled by Venus. Beautiful, like, homes. Libras could probably have a career in like interior design or something like that. That would be probably very preferable for a Libra. Also, like a curator, like at a museum or something like that. Something that have to deal with art, particularly art, like not just a museum, like sculptures and stuff like that, but an art museum in particular. I happen to feel like, and you know how I always have to reference TV characters and stuff like that. One of my favorite shows ever is Sex and the City, and I happen to get a very Libra vibe from the character Charlotte. She gives me very Libra. She worked at an art gallery and everything like that. She was obsessed with relationships and marriage to the point of like obsession and being strategic about it. She had a line in the show where she said, I've watched the show 50 million times, where she said, I've been dating since I was 15. Where is he? Or something like that. So that's very Libra in it. I think she got a little bit of Cancer up in there too, but definitely Libra. Oftentimes, like I mentioned earlier, Libras are very musically inclined. So a lot of Libras are musicians, artists, things of that nature. They're an intellectual sign. Like I mentioned, they're an air sign. And again, I feel like people forget this. I feel like people think that Libras are kind of like ditzy and dumb or whatever the case may be, because Libra, because of them being ruled by Venus and kind of giving off this peace and harmony vibe and not wanting to rock the boat, people forget that they have a mind, right? And they have an intelligent mind. And they actually are capable of taking their emotions out of an equation and being rational and logical about things. So they crave intellectual stimulation with others and in a relationship versus, the physical. Like I said, they can come off as fake. They can kind of come off as fake because of their desire to always keep the peace and not always say what's on their mind. That's a big thing for Libra because they, like I mentioned, they want peace. They don't want chaos and stuff like that. Not typically. But, they're notorious for thinking things and then not saying them. And they'll just be like, okay. Like, you ever, I know, like, I'm in the Samsung Android family, so I don't have an iPhone, but I know for people who have iPhones, if you're texting someone else that has an iPhone, you can see if they're starting to text back or if they're writing or whatever. So let me tell you what somebody with Libra energy would do. They would write like a whole novel, right, to text you back, and then they'd be like, nah, dog, not sending all of that. You're going to be coming back all sideways with all these questions. And that was kind of mean. Ooh, that was kind of harsh. Yeah, I'm not going to say that. So they wrote all of this, and then they're going to probably come back and put, okay. I'm just saying. That's a Libra for you. It's like, it's to be appreciated, but for someone who really wants people to be, very truthful, and honest and things like that, they may not like that, Libra energy. But also, if a Libra knows that maybe you can't handle their honesty, then they will definitely not say all that shit to rock the boat. That's all I'm saying. Strategic. Remember, strategy. They always weigh their thoughts before speaking, pros and cons. They're not necessarily quick to speak or quick to react. You know what I'm saying? It's a very rational mind that's working up there. And unlike Gemini and Aquarius, Libra does actually have a filter, where Gemini and Aquarius, they don't really have a filter like that. They're the other two air signs. So even Libra can kind of come off as even a little bit prudish and a little bit like, they don't even like want to curse and stuff like that. They're like, oh my goodness, excuse my French, but did I curse or something like that or whatever, unless other factors apply in their chart and things like that. But they're like, they could be kind of prissy about decorum and things of that nature. So they like things that look good, as I mentioned, including their significant other. So that may cause them to come across a little bit shallow. But let's just be real. I mean, people like to be with people that they're physically attracted to, and Libra just doesn't. That's one thing that Libra is not going to, be quiet about, at least in their actions. They're going to be with someone that they feel is aesthetically pleasing to them looking. That's basically it. They may be in relationships that are unhealthy just to say that they're in relationships. Like a Libra person would be like, I've been going out with this guy for a week and that's my man now. We boyfriend, girlfriend, yay. We about to move in together. And then like 6 months later, they talking about getting married and stuff like that. So, yeah, they're also prone to multiple marriages. Yes, think Kim Kardashian, who is a Libra. Okay. Understand. I mentioned this 1,000 times, but it doesn't, I just want to drive the point home. Libra doesn't want to rock the boat, and they like harmony in life and in their relationships. And they understand the concept of being able to relate to others. They want to relate to others. They crave relationships with other people. So they have the ability to put the shoe on the other foot and almost like play devil's advocate and be like, well, if I was in your shoes, then I could understand why you would do this in this situation, Another thing about Libra is that because a Libra is all about, balance and everything like that, they're not really likely to take sides. So you're telling a Libra a story and you want them to be all like, yes, I feel you, I get you, yes, I would have punched that bitch in the face too. But a Libra might be like, okay, so what else happened? What did this person say that provoked you to do that? Like, what was the issue? I may need to hear like both sides because I don't understand how you came to that conclusion. And they may say that to like a family member, like a really close friend or something like that. Like a Libra, as much as they love harmony, like a Libra is like more about fairness first. So it's like a catch-22. So they like harmony. So they may say things that that are not going to ruffle feathers, but then at the same time, in a very nice, tactful way, because Libra is a very tactful sign, it might be like, well, I get your point, but what if such and such and such, and this happened, and all of that? Would it have been the same outcome? You know what I'm saying? Because Libra are always looking at all the sides of the equation and stuff like that. Libra is Libra energy is just kind of all over the place. And it kind of goes in hand with their indecisiveness. But in this point, they like really genuinely want to know both sides. Now they can be a mediator. And this can be kind of like good or bad, because in being a mediator, they could also potentially be an instigator. You know what I'm saying? If you're a Libra and you have like two friends and that type of idea, you know, and your friend confided in you about something, and then the other friend confided in you about something, that Libra friend might be like, well, let's get y'all together so y'all can, you know, talk it out. And these friends don't really want to talk it out and stuff like that. So they may kind of like start something that like didn't need to be started. So a Libra finds themselves in the middle of it, you know, when they were trying to, you know, be the mediator, you know, and everything like that. They crave more of an intellectual connection than an emotional one. And I mentioned this a bit when I talked about Cancer, because both Libra and Cancer, like they, you know, especially women, they really want to get married. They want to have, you know, a family and everything like that. But Libra is more intellectual and of the mind, because they're an air sign, and they can kind of take their emotions out of the equation, which is why Libra is also prone to cheating because of that aspect, because they think that, you know, everything is a relationship to Libra. Nothing is like a one night stand or like a one time. Everything is a relationship. Even if it is a one night stand, okay? She will count you as her boyfriend. He will count you as his girlfriend. That's Libra energy for you. So as I mentioned earlier, they can be very, very indecisive people. So if you're looking for a decision to be made like immediately, you probably don't want to ask a Libra or somebody with a lot of Libra energy. Even when it comes to getting something like food or going to a restaurant, like, what restaurant do you want to go to? I don't know. You know, I'm not sure. We had Italian the other night, but I kind of still want Italian, but I low-key kind of want seafood. This sounds like me. Yeah, so it's difficult for Libras to make up their mind about a lot of things. So if you have like a big decision that you have to make, definitely don't tell a Libra, because the Libra is going to be going back and forth and weighing all the pros and cons and all of the options, and you're going to be sitting there for hours and hours waiting on your decision. So you might as well just ask an Aries or a Sag and get it over with. Something like that, because a Libra is difficult for them to make a decision. I feel like once they finally come to a decision, it would probably be a sound one and a well thought out one, but they take a long time to reach those decisions. So like I said before, it does represent marriages and all partnerships of all kinds of marriage, like contracts and business contracts and agreements as well, and things like that. So this is like, you know, you're actually signing on the dotted line, you know, as opposed to just like being in a relationship. Libra takes it to that next level, and it's, you know, legal, because Libra has to deal with the legal system, you know. The body parts that Libra rules are the kidneys, the urinary system, pelvis, reproductive system, which includes the ovaries and fallopian tubes, and the lumbar region of the back. Libras can also be very charming, very sociable. They love to be out at social events. They're a social butterfly, or even like a socialite. You know what I'm saying? Social climbing. Think about that. Social media. Libra is very, very, very big on social media. Libra is definitely the sign that's like, look at me and mommy, and hey, they're posting pictures of them and their man all the time on social media, because they want everybody to know that they got a man and shit like that. So yeah, that's Libra. If you wanted to know who's flooding your timeline with all of those booed up type pics, it's probably somebody with Libra energy. It's them. So if it's bothering you, you know, I guess you can just block them, or something like that, or unfollow, or whatever the case may be. But it's probably somebody with Libra energy. I'm just letting y'all know that now. So like I just said, very much into social media, not just posting pictures of them and their significant other, but just interacting, because all of the air signs are into social media, because Gemini rules the media in and of itself. Aquarius rules the internet, and Libra like rules like being social and interacting with people and relationships. So that's a way for Libras to be able to communicate with people and develop relationships with people that are not necessarily, directly, with them. They can, make friendships and relationships with people who live thousands and thousands of miles away via the internet. So it's probably kind of a saving grace for a Libra who craves that. Like I mentioned before, they're the sign of commitment, like legal commitment. I mentioned this earlier, can be a bit of a prude, maybe embarrassed if you curse or they curse around you and things of that nature. They usually always like to have their hair and their nails done, Venusian, like I said before, so concerned with looking their best. And the men be looking sharp too, the male Libras. They're concerned with keeping up with the Joneses. Most definitely. Think keeping up with the Kardashians. And like I already mentioned, Kim is a Libra. So, that goes hand in hand. So, I mean, Libras can kind of be like followers. They kind of want to be in with the in crowd type of thing. So, think high school, but like on a larger scale. You know what I'm saying? Hollywood. um, they can be kind of insensitive due to their air quality, and like I mentioned earlier, may not take your side, because they need to hear all sides and all options. So just know that when speaking to a Libra, if you want to kind of really have a discussion about what you should do and the things like that, then a Libra is a good person to talk to. If you just want somebody to like vent to and to just kind of like tell your problems and things like that, and they just go on, side with you and everything like that, then you probably don't want to tell a Libra. But on the flip side, like I said, Libra likes harmony and stuff like that, so they may be able to just be that friend and just sit there and be like, yeah, and just, take it all in and not say anything back. So it's twofold. It depends maybe on what mood they're in. There's always a possibility for ambushing. Think the situation that I mentioned earlier where there's the Libra and she has the two friends and trying to put them together and they don't realize that they're being ambushed in a way, or the Libra themselves could be ambushed. Because Libra is concerned with fairness, they can be prone to be like sue happy. And remember, Libra has to deal with the legal system and everything like that. So they're all about fairness. So, you go to court with a Libra, let me tell you something about that. That's not going to be a quick and easy deal. They're going to fight for their fairness, for justice. Understand that, especially if they feel like they deserve it. And even if they don't, they'll be like, it's the principle of the matter. So yeah, understand that about a Libra. So Libras are typically very likable people. They're very nice. They're very charming. They're very sociable. A lot of people want to be around Libras. A lot of people with Libra energy have a lot of friends. They're a pleasant energy to be around. But they do also want to be liked by people. Don't ever let a Libra tell you that they don't care what people think about them, because they always do. Cardi B comes to mind when I think about this. Cardi B is a Libra, and she absolutely cares what people think about her. I feel like I'm going to do like a separate video on Cardi B because there's so much to discuss. But yes, and even the whole social media, like wanting to interact with social media and everything like that all of the time and things of that nature. So she definitely wants to be liked. Libra energy in general, they want to be liked. They want people to like them, which is not necessarily a bad thing. Like, it's really not. It's just people don't want to admit it because people want to feel like they're these individuals that don't need nobody and they don't give a fuck and all of this type of stuff. But it's nothing wrong with wanting people to like you. You know what I'm saying? It's really not. It's just all in the way you kind of handle it and react to different situations coming your way. But I would say in general, Libra is one of the nice signs of the zodiac. Like, their disposition is very nice, like just a nice person. Like I mentioned this earlier, may say they're in a relationship after only dating somebody for a week. They're always rationalizing things, which is another reason that they may come off as insensitive. Same as all of the air signs. But I would say that they're the least cruel of the air signs. Like I said before, they're nice people in general. Um, Libras are concerned about things being symmetrical. I think I mentioned this earlier. So Libra may always people with Libra energy may always be getting their eyebrows done because they need that to be symmetrical. They need that to be, working properly. Now a side note, and I know I've been talking about her a lot, and I will be doing a video solely on Beyonce, but I just feel like she's such a good example of having different energies in your chart and seeing how they manifest. So Libra, Beyonce is not a Libra sun, but she has a mean stellium in Libra. She has about 5 or 6 planets in the sign of Libra. So a lot of the things that I mentioned, like specifically the part about coming off as fake, right? Because a lot of people seem to think that Beyonce is fake or she's not real and things like that. But a lot of that is just because of wanting people to like her, wanting to keep the peace. I remember her in one of her old videos, I think it was from the I Am World tour, she mentioned something about how she has to walk around with a smile on her face all the time, or else people will think that she's mean, people will think that she's a bitch or something like that. So that's like the Libra mindset. Like if I don't walk around looking happy with a smile on my face all the time, people are going to think that I'm mean and that I'm a bitch, and I'm not. And I just had a bad day, and I don't want people to think that. So I'm definitely going to get more in depth about that. Of course, all of the, musicianship and the artistry obviously is very Libra, and all of that. But so I would say that her Libra energy actually supersedes her Virgo. I'm not saying that her Virgo isn't there, because that is her sun sign, is her ego, but that Libra energy is extremely, extremely strong in the way that she interacts with the public specifically. You know what I'm saying? So yeah. If Virgo was more prominent, she would actually post pictures with captions almost all the time, because Virgo is about writing and the media, but more like, writing, and Libra is more about arts and the visual aspect of it. So that's why Beyonce is known for just taking pictures and there's like no captions, because she's like, you see it in the art, homie. Um, so they can kind of come off as passive aggressive a little bit. I mentioned this earlier about writing a whole novel and then erasing it and putting okay, because they don't want to rock the boat, because they're thinking about, their options and things like that. The feminine and masculine energies, it talks about that. They don't like anything ugly or unpleasant and things like that. They're all about reciprocity. So I give, then that means I should receive. You know what I'm saying? And that includes in the bedroom. So a Libra is going to do what they need to do to please you, but they expect to get that in return. And that's just in life in general. That's in relationships, friendships, business partnerships. It's all about reciprocity. It's all about the give and take with a Libra. Libras can also be kind of lazy, because they're not like the hard worker type of sign, like a Virgo or a Capricorn or whatever. Like I mentioned earlier, kind of like the social climber. It's about like who you know. Libra is the who you know sign. So that's how they always say it's not what you know, but who you know. That's Libra. So Libra always knows somebody that knows somebody's cousin that can do something to make them famous, or, whatever. And I would say Libra is also kind of one of the signs that is, I don't want to say obsessed with being famous, but they are, because they're kind of obsessed with people liking them. If they want to be in the entertainment industry or just be somebody famous, because I guess the entertainment industry is like everything. It's like YouTube, it's reality shows now or whatever. They'll find a way. They don't maybe not necessarily have to work hard to get those things if they know the right people. I mentioned earlier about them being a follower, keeping up with the Joneses and everything like that. Also, a woman can kind of be like a big tease, like sexually. Think of strip tease, you know, so they're doing their dance and they're stripping and everything, like not stripping, but they're doing their sexy dance on the pole, but they don't actually take their clothes off. You know, they're not that kind of a stripper. So I would say like burlesque, maybe, you know, that type of thing. And also, they are most definitely the fake it till you make it sign. I would say Gemini is that too, as well. So I forgot to mention that with Gemini, but they are definitely fake it till you make it, because you know they believe that as long as people are liking me, then I can still, you know, continue that social climb. So I was supposed to be paying attention to this video, and it got up to 35 minutes. So I hope you guys stayed with me here for Libra. I told you it was getting more in depth, more juicy. So some celebrity Libras are Usher, Kim Kardashian, Amber Rose. Think feminist. Think her the slut walks that she puts on, Cardi B, T.I., Monica, and Bruno Mars. So that is it for my Libra video. I hope you guys are able to have a long enough attention span to sit through this, because I don't think I'm going to break it up in 2 parts. So I'm just being honest. So yeah, this will be the Libra video, and I will see you guys next time for Scorpio, which I will most definitely put in 2 parts, because Scorpio is deep, bitch. Okay, so until next time, see you guys later. Bye.